Hello students, today we're going to talk about how to fill out the Cell Project Blueprints worksheet. It's very simple, and the idea here is just remembering this, that this right here, this worksheet, is really going to be your poster. It's exactly going to represent what you're going to build and what your poster should look like. So I'm going to talk about what you include here. I'm going to show a sample, and then I'll show you what the projects will look like. So you start first, what you want to do, again, you just print this out, and there's about 7 sections that you want to complete on that, and your board is going to look exactly like this, just like the way you do this worksheet. And the idea is for you to build your project based on this worksheet. So you start right here, the title. You want to title it the scientific cell name. So you're all going to have a cell name that's scientific, and then the common name, for example, cardiac cell, or that would be the scientific name for the heart cell, and the common cell name would be heart cell. The function, basically what it does, right? It pumps, it beats, and contracts, so that and it has an automatic contraction. And so you basically put the function, the purpose of that cell, what it does, how does it keep you alive, what does it do for the body. So you would talk about that. Maybe 3 or 4 bullet points right there. Number 3, important information. So pictures, diagrams with captions, diseases, health tips, basically what you learn about that, about your cell. So main key points. Now you don't have a lot of space, but you want to put the things that stand out, put pictures next to the information. I'll show you a sample of this. Number 4, you're going to have the organ. So some students like to build it. They like to build the organ or organ system that this cell is from. So for example, since it's a heart cell, it's from the heart organ, so I would have a picture of the heart right there, or I would maybe build a heart or something. It's up to you. You get extra credit points for building the heart organ. So you build a heart, and then we're going to zoom in because we're going to zoom into a cell. And every cell project has this layout. So they build the organ right here, the heart, and then we're going to zoom into one cell from that heart, and it'll be here. And this is where you're going to build your cell. And you're going to have your cell project, your cell model will go on top of your board right here. It might be bigger because some of you have really big cells, but you really want to build it right here on your board. Now this is going to be a standard size board, and the dimensions I'll post up on the website once I find out what the standard poster board dimensions are. But just a regular poster board that you use for most projects and things like that. Not a science fair poster board, not a 3-panel one. You don't need that, but it's just a regular board. You want to get the ones that are pretty thick, like styrofoam, or not styrofoam, but they have some that are very thicker boards than usual. You can get those at the 99-cent store or at Staples or Office Depot. And so you're going to build your 3D cell model with all the organelles and actions. We'll talk about that in the next tutorial when you actually start building your cell. But it must include the materials you'll be using. And here we have the cell membrane. We're also going to zoom in. The cell membrane, goes around your cell, but we're just going to build just a strip of that cell membrane. And over here you'll have the numbered key with organelles, names, and functions. So let's look at a picture so you can see what we're talking about. So here's a filled out one for the pancreas cell. Now it might be tough to see because I enlarged this picture that I did a couple years back. So this is what I would do for my pancreas cell, let's say if I had that one. So the scientific name is the pancreatic beta cell. This would be the common name, pancreas cell. Functions, it produces and secretes insulin, protein, hormones. Insulin's released when sugar is high, and it lowers the sugar. Pancreas helps maintain homeostasis. It also releases, this one releases insulin. And so you would talk about that, its function and importance in diabetes and things like that. Over here, important information. I would include some points right there. I would talk about the diseases, the importance of the cell, the shape, the texture, organ system. Basically you would put in the information from your research day worksheet there. And again, I have some pictures. Diabetes, somebody injecting insulin into their stomach, how insulin gets into your cells, and things like that. And here's the organ that it's from, and I actually did a 3 level zoom type. So what I had was a human, and then I zoom into the organ, and then I show the tissues, which are the different cells there, beta cells, alpha cells, etc. And then I do another zoom in here to the actual cell, one beta cell. Now in here I have again the cell, and I'm just making notes of what I'm going to use for each part. For example, I'm going to use clothespins for the cell membrane. I'm going to use P's to represent the ribosomes. I'm going to use construction paper to make my mitochondria. I'm going to use hair gel for the cytoplasm. Spaghetti for the Golgi apparatus. So I'm just making note of, I'm imagining how I'm going to build my cell, but before I build it, I want to at least organize my thoughts and put it all together on a piece of paper, and that's what this worksheet is for. And I'm going to build my cell membrane here, and again, you're going to use this worksheet. If you remember that one, you have it with you. And I'm just going to build my cell membrane a little bit bigger so that you can see it there, and that's what goes here for 6. And then putting the numbered key with organelles, names, and functions. So this is going to correspond to everything you have in here. So like number 1, nucleus. It stores and protects DNA. So I'm going to label number 1 right there. Cell membrane controls what enters and exits. So I'm going to label it right here, number 2. And so forth. So let's look at some real ones that students have made. Again, so this is what your worksheet will look like, but this is what your project will look like in the end. And again, remember, they have the cell in the middle, the organ it's zooming in from. So here's a brain. They're zooming into the brain, and here's a neuron. She did it a little bit differently. She put information all over through cards. She did have her cell membrane here. You can see her cell membrane. And so the main idea is she has everything that you need. You don't have to follow the worksheet. When you build your cell, you don't have to follow the worksheet exactly. Maybe you want to build it a little bit different, but you do have to have the 7 components to get credit. Here's another example. Again, he did auditory hair cell, and that's the scientific name, and I think underneath he titled it hearing cell. And here he has the organ that's from. So here's the ear, and he built all the inner structures, and then he's zooming in to one of the cells right here. Again, here's an auditory hair cell. He's explaining how it works. And he also has a cell membrane here. He's got information, and he's got the numbered key there. So again, it follows a format. Here's another example, the brain cell. She did it a little bit different. Instead of the organ, which is on the left side, she actually put it on the right side. And so she's zooming into the organ because she wanted to show that it, how it works and everything. So she did it with Christmas lights and all that. And she, brought a little bit, put all her research into a little folder or a little portfolio. But it has everything. Again, it's got all the 7 components. It's got the cell membrane there. It's got the numbered label diagram, or the labeled key. It's got her cell 3D model there. It's got the organ it's zooming in from. It's got the title and scientific name. It's got extra information, things like that. Here's another one, same thing. The student went above and beyond, made 3 cells, and that was for the one she did. Here's another one. Again, the organ you're zooming in from, she chose not to build it. But she has the brain here, it's zooming in, and here you have the nerve cell. She put extra info throughout, and she put the label diagram right here, and she built the cell membrane on the side. So again, you could get creative, but as long as you have those 7 components I was mentioning. All right.